Do you get people coming up to you and saying, "Oh, yeah, I really love the show, but I wish you'd done this, or you should have done that," or
Yeah. Like, so the interesting part about being on reality TV is that the audience really believe they know who we are. They see us in a different
Mhm.
layer. Like, let's talk about, say, Tom Cruise. I'm not comparing myself to Tom Cruise, but he has
I think you're
different.
taller than Tom Cruise, but yeah.
I should be. Depends if he's got the right shoes
If he
on.
ever finds this video, sorry,
Yeah,
Tom, but
yeah, sorry, mate.
we all know. Yeah.
Yeah, you're married to an Aussie, you'll understand.
There we
So,
go.
so people see Tom not as Mission Impossible, not
Mhm.
as, they don't see him as a fighter pilot from Top Gun. They don't see him as cocktails. They don't know him, right?
Mhm.
Movies don't dictate who he is. And
Right.
people wouldn't go to him and say, "Oh, in that movie, I can't believe you did that." That wouldn't happen because there's a
Mhm.
script, there's everything. You're an actor. In reality
Mhm.
TV, they're seeing us at so many levels of true emotion that
Mhm.
they really believe they know us,
Right.
right? I could reach out in the screen and grabbed it, right? So it's very interesting because people will come and they'll be really personal, like we're good friends. They know me. They watch all my shows. They see what's going on. They get on my Instagram. They see my kids. They're like, like they
Yeah.
know me. They really know me. So I don't know them, but they really know me. And
Right.
there, they probably do because they get to see me in so many different facets, and I share my life very openly. So people come to me and go, "Why did you do that?" It's a genuine question of why did you do that? And I go, "Well,
Right. I was like,
the
"Hi,
show."
how are you?" I'm good.
Oh,
Fine.
oh,
Yeah.
well, there is a lot of, "Can I get a photo with you?" And then I'm like, "What is your name?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
Kerry." Of course you know that, but I'm going to say, I want to first know you don't know me
Of
offhand,
course they
but
know that I am Kerry. Come on.
yes,
Yeah.
it's still part of the part, right? Is for them to
Yeah.
get brave enough to come up to me. I mean, for
Mhm.
every one person who's brave enough, how many others are that want to?
Mhm.
So you're brave enough to come up to me. "How are you? What's your name?" "Oh, yeah. Where are you from?" Like, I take a few moments to, look them in the eyes, genuinely want to learn about them a little bit, then we do
Mhm.
something. You know what I mean? And
Have you come across anyone who said like, "Hey, listen, you inspired me to get into this, get into that"? Have you had that moment yet?
I've had, like, I can't believe this because
Or multiple moments rather? Yeah.
there's many things I've been accused of, in my life, but one
Yeah.
is not my management style of being amazing, and I wanna copy it. So that I've accused of many things, but not that. And I've had people, like, say, like, they've changed, like, they've run the way they run their companies, they're
Mhm.
modeling how I operate on the boat.
Oh, that's gotta be a really awesome feeling.
I hope those companies are still running right now, but
Not like the electrical company, right? It's still going.
so that's really neat, right? It's really, really neat. And I've been getting I was just in Turkey,
Yeah.
at the boat show there, and they flew me over. Thank you so much, guys over there, Super Yacht Turkey Association, Mehmeti Management. They flew me over there. Go Turkey flew me over there just to be there for a 1 hour interview. And I was there with these amazing ladies. To my right was a captain from Jordan, and then beside me was a Turkish captain, all
Mhm.
ladies, and then an Italian. And it was just incredible to be around that diversity in the industry, which I fostered when I started being a captain in Australia. Even when I was deck crew first mate, I'd foster that to bring some more women into the industry. And these ladies were so the composure, like their calm confidence to be in the industry. I can't articulate really what I want to say because it always comes across wrong. But it was just a captain.
Anything you say will come across wrong. You can say, "Hi, how are you?" And you've offended about 20 people with that
Yeah,
sentence in the last second. So,
yeah.
you
Well, I'm
know,
Australian. I offend all the time. But
sometimes we offend just for existing. The
yes,
British Empire is still very upset about many things.
but they were just very happy to be where they're at. And then after
Mhm.
that, the amount of female mates and captains that came up to me, I've never seen so many, right? Like, and people who come up to me and are inspired on what I do and how I treat people and the confidence of coming to the industry because they see that someone from my position, that I have that time to train people and to be a mentor, and that more brave and confident to step out. Like, should I do this? I'm like, absolutely. Like the industry, I believe the industry is difficult for anybody to obtain a top job, right? There's only one captain on a boat. Right? You have 20 crew. There's one captain. That top job is hard for anybody to get. It's not easy. And to see so many women now who are just stepping in and making their way up to that role for their own merits and their experiences, their dedication is fantastic. I don't ever see a day it's going to be equal, because we just don't have enough people in there.
You've essentially seen from when you were younger what was, I guess, effectively a totally, or if not all, male dominated industry, or in particular role, and how more and more that's changing. I mean, it's still male dominated, but nowhere near as disproportionate as it used to be.
Yeah, well, it's any industry that is dominated of one sex or the other will be, because it's going to take time to balance, right? It's not a role you can balance overnight. But when I started the industry, there would be a token female deckhand, or a token female captain, right? And they would talk their struggles where they're at, but it'd be at that token person there. Where now you don't batter an eyelid. Like, it's not, you meet a girl, in a shipyard, and she says she's the deckhand or the engineer. You're like, oh, cool. It's not like, really? Are you? What? No.
Yeah.
From how I see it, and everyone has their own lens, it's not a big deal anymore. And I think that's it not being a big deal makes it more powerful. You know what I mean?
Because it's no longer, it's now like just breathing. It's as normal as breathing. It's as common as breathing and exhaling. Yeah.
And the great thing about that is when it's taken that way, right, is the compassion that I show is more a female trait than a male trait. Right. So more women captains there are, more accepting ship owners and management owners are of captains being compassionate. So they bring something in, and I don't think they'll see it that way, right? They need to be more like a man. They need to be just them, confident.
Yes.
Do the great job, bring that compassion, and they're going to help men manage better. They're going to help the male captains do a better job, and that is what I'm talking about.
Right, by bringing those more feminine qualities out that are positive and contributing in a meaningful way to the role.
And then for me, I really want to show that, because there's no doubt that I'm firm but fair. There's no, if you mess around with me, and find out, you get that.
Yeah.
But that same bloke can be compassionate.
I want to just read, I have him here. I have to read one of these. Where was it here? Yeah, exactly this. One of the comments, and this was on, if anyone comes across this on Reddit, because Reddit has got a forum for everything. On this one was a below deck one. You come about it, it's like the second coming. It's quite amazing. So on one of the comments was about Kerry. They wrote here, person wrote, I'm not sure if it's too soon to have this opinion, but I think Captain Kerry is my all-time favorite of any spin-off. I think Kerry has stolen the spot. I think he's fair, tough, and kind. I was apprehensive about someone coming to take over the below deck seasons, but oh my God, I love him. And then on that exact note you just mentioned, a person responded that they love him. He seems to really care, but he's not a pushover. He has high standards for the boat and his crew, and he expects people to have an equally high standard for themselves, which includes taking care of their mental health. Love to see him as a leader.
Yes.
You have this amazing thing where on Reddit of all places, which has got quite a reputation.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Every one of them speak about great leader, firm, high standards, but he cares.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's exactly what you were speaking about now, how, you're seeing how they're bringing out qualities in a lot of the male dominated areas. So like being a captain, that you should be more compassionate, and that the compassion pays off. It's better.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I guess that's obviously a cause that you care quite deeply about. I wanted to ask, I noticed following your social media, you're very big on cancer.
Yes.
And in particular, children's cancer. what got you so into that? Because there's 1,000 causes out there,
Yes.
you know, and there's 1,000, unfortunately, 1,000 cancers out there.
Yeah. Back to just not thinking too much of all this, right? I'm doing a TV show. I'm no better than the next person. I love to have fun and I love to tell jokes, but walking into a room and everyone's staring at me is not my cup of tea. So I've got more used to it now, but it's kind of like, why would someone do something for me? I'm just a regular guy. Like, why would you go out of your way just because I've done this TV show? Well, when I did Below Deck Adventure, I do these watch parties where I go to different restaurants and bars and they put it on the big screen and some of the crew will be there and the fans can hang out with the crew while the show's on. So my birthday's in December and
Same year, best month, obviously. Just
I'm the
saying.
12th. I'm the 12th. When are you?
20 seconds. You beat me, but can we just agree? I have to get this off my chest.
Yeah.
Because, you know, now I'm in the Northern Hemisphere. I personally feel aggrieved by the fact that I've gone from a December summertime, Southern Hemisphere birthday, as someone who loves summer,
Yes.
to a winter one. But
Yeah.
anyway, I don't want to talk about my problems here. These are they're fun problems to have. But
Yeah. Winter in Florida is not terrible. But so one Adrian from the very first season of Below Deck, we're very good friends before the TV show, and she kind of helped me through this whole reality TV world. And she's like, let's just watch party. She says, it's December, my birthday. Yep, people will come. Your birthday. She goes, do you want? Like, is there any charities that you're interested in? I'm like, charities? That's like what rich, famous people do. You know, like, why would anyone give a shit about what I'm into? She's like, you'd be surprised. And I said, okay, let's do single parent families, not mothers, not fathers, single parent. And let's ask them, let's say it's my birthday and they bring presents, not for me, but for the kids. So I was at the local Irish bar up the road and mate, I nearly freaking cried, bro. When I walked in there, the whole stage was full of Amazon boxes. People who couldn't even make it there, then in presents. And I'm like, wow, like I don't want this spotlight on me. I want to get this spotlight and shine it on things that are bigger than me. I want to, when I was working on yachts, I remember having this moment of what am I doing for the planet? What's my contribution to life other than driving rich people around in boats and polluting the seas? And, you know, like I'm not a tree hugger. I didn't do anything about it, but I thought about it, right? It was a thought.
yeah.
My thing, well, I guess, you know what my thing is? Make money, my kids have got education, be good to my wife, fly my mum over. That's my contribution, right? Fast forward, all of a sudden, people are listening to what is important to me and making it important to them. So that was the first one. Then we rescued a husky, and then I started fostering huskies. So GTS Husky Rescue, and I started showing that, and people getting attention, more people wanting to adopt the dogs, make awareness that these huskies are even in Florida.
I was just about to say wild. I mean, I know there's a lot of things in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to Key West, for example. I've seen everything in Florida.
Okay, that's okay.
So huskies in Florida, that's crazy.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
A lot. There's a lot here. What happens is people get these dogs because they're beautiful.
Yeah, they're stunning, but very difficult to raise.
But they're, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're
you said it better than I could.
yeah, they're really gorgeous, but they're I grew up with German Shepherds, you know, Alsatians, Rottweilers, you know, dogs that listen, Dobermans. They do what they're told. You can leave the door open, they'll be fine. Not a husky. So I focused purely on the husky rescue at the start. Then I worked with from there I went to Stop Children's Cancer. They actually reached out to me. They wanted to pay me some money to be the celebrity at an event. And I'm like, what's the event? And they're like, oh, it's a Ferrari car show. I said, I should pay you.
It's terrible.
Car show. So I'm like, I'm not taking the money. I'll come to the car show. And then there was another event where they wanted to model some clothes, which I felt very weird about a couple of years ago. But then I was filming, so I couldn't do it. And then recently, everyone's seeing I'm wearing Lily Pulitzer, which is not something I thought I'd ever see myself in. And I had a lot of fun.
I feel like being in Florida, it was a good look. I mean, it's like if the best way I could think of it was like if someone took Tommy Bahamas and got rid of any of the bad situations that come with Tommy Bahama and just made it way more fun. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's very bright. Good on you. You know, like that's very, it's a very colorful outfit. Good for you, mate. You know, a
Yeah.
good cause, got to get behind it.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it, mate. Yeah, I wore it, I had some mates of mine kind of give me a hard time. I'm like, mate, it's this kid's cancer. They're like, okay. So, so Stop Children's Cancer, there's a bunch of places around the country that do this. A lot of money that goes into helping out the children, finding out different ways of dealing with cancers without using chemo. So it's a big,
Mhm.
big thing. And I'm huge on that. Another foundation I've worked with is called Furry Friends. And I recently, no one has called me up on it yet, but they auctioned me off as to be a celebrity captain for the day. So they raised, I think it was nearly $18,000 and someone paid, and then, I'll take some people out for the day.
It's called Furry Friends.
Furry Friends, yes. Big charity here called Wounded Warriors in this country.
For
Um,
the vets.
for the vets, it's very well known. I haven't worked with them so much as of yet. I'm really trying to help some of the smaller organizations, and there's a charity called Wounded Waters, and these are fans of the show. I met them in Miami when I was with Glenn. We were walking around Miami show together. They come to G'day, we had a bit of a chat, and I said, hey, is there anything I can do to help? They're like, really? You would? I said, mate, absolutely. And, the guy's a veteran himself. It's not just vets, it's also first responders with PTSD. And it's
Yeah.
getting them past that, taking them out fishing, getting them to scuba dive. So I've become very passionate about that. I haven't done as much as I'd love to do with them, but they're an organization that, they really, it's just the depth. I've never served, but I have a lot of compassion for those that I had.
For a second, I thought you said you've never surfed. And I was like,
I'm from
say
Queensland, so
what?
North
Yeah.
Queensland, the outback was no surf, so um, I,
Yeah.
I can ride a board, I just can't turn. Then I've started doing some stuff with another charity here, and Goodwill, which is the company where you donate your clothes to, and they sell them,
Yes.
and they employ people. I've started doing some stuff
Yeah.
with them, but we haven't really gained traction. But it's another charity that I'm also looking towards. So that, and the only reason that any of this is possible is because of the show. You know what I mean?
Right.
My contribution would be, I used to take the kids to the animal shelter and we'd play with the animals and that whichever we need to do that, right? But
Yeah.
I have this platform. I'm helping bring more awareness to these charities and helping bring more money, and also the community itself is being more aware of what's going on. And in
Uh-huh.
saying that, one of the really big things that I think is amazing is, you follow me and I do all my own stuff, and I'll go on, and if your page is open, you've open an account, I'll flick through and I'll see some cool stuff and I'll put a couple of likes on there, and people flip out. They repost, oh my God, Captain Kerry.
Yeah, you make their day.
So,
Yeah.
so that in itself, the joy that I'm bringing in my own way, I'm making the world a better place, is now you're in a good mood. So your immediate circle are feeling that, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and they're feeling in a better mood. And then their circle, it radiates out where,
100%. Yeah.
and, and it's not because it's not a big deal for me to do that. That
Uh-huh.
little effort for such a massive effect.
There are people who unfortunately are very polarized about a lot of things, including charitable things and causes. It's just the nature of the beast. But people are way more caring in general. Well, there's a lot more, I think, of an attention and love given to it than in many other instances.
Remembering the Reddit things that are written, like,
Yes.
I was told by my agent, do not go on Reddit. They are ruthless. That is the
They are
worst thing you could ever do is do that.
typically,
And I have a massive Reddit army. Like
yeah,
if
yeah,
someone
you
talks
do.
shit about me, if someone talks shit about me, they get attacked, which is hilarious in itself. And then I only communicate in gifs, and it just makes it so much more fun. It really does. The other thing is when people DM me, if your account's closed, I don't respond. So if you want to ask me a
Uh-huh.
question, you have a private account, ask it on the page. And that I was in Turkey and I had some Turkish guy come up and goes, yeah, I wrote to you and you never responded to me. I said, what did you write? Because you probably don't even check it. And I said, what did you write? He goes, oh, I was asking on what channel I could watch your show. I said, I know. And I went, it's right here. I said, but your account,
Yeah.
mate. I said, if your account's closed, I don't answer because I don't know who you are. I don't know if it's a real account.
Yeah.
But if
Mm-hmm.
your account's open, I'll respond to you. And if you want to keep it closed, just ask me questions on the thread, and I'm happy
Right.
to respond to you 100%. And I've got people that I've been mentoring on there as well, giving them advice,
Mm-hmm.
connecting them with different departments. As far as I don't know all the laws of all the nations of how they go through their system of yachting or shipbuilding and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's actually quite amazing how many connections I do have. So if I don't know the answer, I'll point you in the direction of someone who may.
So to borrow a cliche, you'll steer them to their North Star.
I'll let them know
Yeah.
which way north is and go, yeah. I'll teach them to fish, right? I'll teach them to fish, not fish for them.
I just wanted to say on my side, huge thank you firstly, a huge thank you to our mutual friend. I won't say her name because I know she really appreciates her privacy.
Yes.
So a massive thank you for her for putting us in contact. I sincerely appreciate that. Secondly, and by no means necessarily second place, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to you. It's been such an absolute pleasure chatting. I really appreciate your time. I know you've got a hectic but awesome, envious schedule, actually. And I would really love to do this again sometime. I genuinely wish that they would give more time to the captains. Maybe you can whisper into Bravos and say, well, I at least know one fan who would love to see us more.
Yes.
Maybe not all equally. It's a bit of an Animal Farm thing. All captains are created equal. Some are just more equal than others.
All right, mate. Hey, thanks so much for your time. I'd love to spend more time with you, but I haven't even packed yet. Thanks, mate. Catch you later.
Cheerio. Bye.